Hello and welcome to another update video about Cardano. In this video, we're going to take a look at the Cardano chart and the Bitcoin chart. And we start straight away with Bitcoin. Bitcoin here is continuing to trade in its channel. So it seems to be a valid channel, even though, and need to highlight that here, we are making something like a head and shoulders. Yeah. And it takes longer than the last couple of times, 3 times, to move up from this support line here. So remains to be seen. It's currently holding above 61k and also above 60k, but it looks a bit like a head and shoulders here. So if we break this neckline here, that could take us down. Yeah, that could take us straight or just about into the target range down here somewhere. Maybe not straight away, but yeah, break out of this channel here would be quite a bit of a drop here. So just want to highlight that. However, at the moment it's looking like we are still trading in this ascending channel. Did mention yesterday that it is increasingly difficult for Bitcoin, it looks like. A next move up would to the top of that channel. Well, first initial move would probably take Bitcoin here to 62.5k, which is the previous high here. And there was resistance here and resistance here. So we've got a bit of a horizontal going on here, you know, within this channel. You can see that, and at the same time that is looking a bit like an ascending triangle. If we break above that, then I think we can really take us to 65, above 65k. Now that would also take us above that B wave here, which I was hoping we would be doing, because we need to get above that B wave here. That is that previous high as well. So, and that is at 63.6k. roughly, that B wave. We need to get above that, and then we can, I think it's more likely at least to continue our way to the upside. At the moment, as I said yesterday, nothing has changed since then. We are still in a corrective mode, and I would expect us to go down once more into the target range. We already hit my target level here, but it was only very brief, very short, and since then we haven't really, you know, gone up really in an impulsive move to the upside. Yes, we are going up at the moment in this channel, and that's why it looks like an up and down. But I want us to get above 63.5k. We tried it here already, failed, and now we are going down again. And we're accumulating here, consolidating at this support line. The longer that takes, the more likely it is to go down as well. Yeah, so I of course sincerely hope we go up from here. Would be great, but I think we might need that correction. Otherwise, we won't get to levels of 100k and everything, you know. So, because the market is just overheated and the RSI isn't down enough and so on. So there you can see it on the 4-hour chart. So yeah, just waiting for that next move here, pivot point here at the moment. Chart doesn't look too bad actually, but for me, it's still in a corrective mode at the moment. Let's jump to ADA. ADA is, as we established in the last few videos, is increasingly following Bitcoin. Also now on its way up. So that is why, and we take a look on the ADA BTC chart in a minute. But you can see here now that after we broke out of the ABCDE triangle to the downside, we can define this larger descending wedge, which is a bullish pattern, and we could really break out to the upside from here. Yeah, it is a bullish pattern. So I did tell you here that that I bought more, and because I think we have possibly found the bottom here. If we haven't found it now, there might be one more drop, and then we will find it. This is still a realistic possibility. Get once more into the target range here on the, there you go. This is the other chart on the ADA BTC 1-hour chart. You can see it here, this yellow box. Yes, we came into it, or we touched it already. That was my target. But again, only very briefly. In that move up here, that downward pattern was invalidated. And now we're moving sideways at the moment, but slightly following Bitcoin on its way up again, which you can see here, a few green candles. So Cardano is following at the moment. We can see it on the ADA BTC chart in a minute as well. So if we go back to that chart here, you can see that we're pretty much at the breakout point now. Now, I'm not saying that we're going to break out now, but what I'm saying is that we first of all see a buy signal here on the MACD. This is becoming green. We have a bullish cross on the MACD on the daily. That is looking healthy. That's looking good. Now, we had that here as well in that sideways move, yeah, but it was, again, you know, it is a buy signal technically, but it's only an indicator. So this was not big. This here was big when it happened here in July. So it remains to be seen what happens now. Also, We on the daily still waiting for that breakout here above the 50 line of the RSI. This is my breakout point. Actually, if we move it a little bit lower, just to have it as many touches as possible, it would possibly even be a bit lower. This is on the RSI. As I always say, you know, trend lines and everything is subjective, but an RSI, an indicator oscillator like the RSI, it is not subjective. It is an objective one. And if you can identify a trend line here, yeah, for example, horizontal possible breakout line, that is an objective way of doing it. And if we say, all right, maybe it is the 50 line, here on the 50 line, maybe even, yeah, maybe below, around 48, yeah, that could be a breakout point from which we then, because we have one touch point here, 2, 3, possibly 4, you know, as soon as we break above that, yeah, and can hold it, maybe a successful retest. I mean, we did it here, we failed, yeah, dropped back down. But overall, really, since the middle of September, we have been, or pretty much here, since the beginning of September, we have been below this level, yeah. There were a couple of peaks, tried to break through, failed. Most of the time here on the ADA chart, this year, you've either been below or above, yeah. There wasn't much in between. And that is why if you're below, then you have this long sideways consolidation as we had here from May to July, or you have these huge peaks, and I'm waiting for the next huge peak. Yeah, that has to come. And other people, I don't know if other people don't see it. No, I've seen nobody talking about it, but this is an objective way of doing it. Another way of identifying a breakout point for ADA, which is more objective, and I showed it to you many weeks ago, I think even months ago. This is the Bollinger Bands growth, Bollinger Bands width indicator, which works similar. Yeah, it just measures the width of the Bollinger Bands. And if you don't know what the Bollinger Bands are, check out my second channel. You can find a link in the description. I've got a dedicated video on my TA channel about the Bollinger Bands. Now again, this is the daily chart. Yeah, if we take a look here where we are on the daily and make that a bit smaller, you can see that we can identify and apply here a trend line as well. Again, a horizontal one. And again, we want to identify areas of peaks and a lot of touch points. So I would say that you always had a massive breakout when we broke through this key level here. So just question how you apply, probably like that. Yeah, then you've got this touch point here. This was, yeah, probably one here and here. We need to adjust it to a way that when we broke above it, we had huge peaks. So this was here and it was here. Anytime we broke it, no, I need to do it like that, probably like that. So we've got a level here of 39.40. If we break the Bollinger Bands with above 39, I think, or even get closer to it, yeah, we're still quite a bit of quite far away, but this can change quickly. This can change within days, yeah. As soon as we break above that, that can be an indicator that we here break to the upside, yeah, because the last time that happened here, that was on the, it really broke on the 10th of August. Yes, the uptrend started before, but the real breakout was here on the 10th of August. So I'm talking here, this is when a parabolic breakout is happening, right? You can even move it a bit lower, but then you might get a bit of a fake out. But these were really the parabolic moves that we could sort of predict with this indicator. Yeah, I just want to show you, I think it's very, very valuable. So yeah, it's looking, I think Cardano is looking good, you know. I don't understand why there are so many negative comments about Cardano in the chat. It's just ridiculous. It honestly is. Yes, it is not moving at the moment, but you know, we've been saying for weeks and months that Cardano is just slow sometimes. It has these slow periods, but then if it pumps really well. And if you compare it to other cryptos, it has done really well since it started. So there is no reason to be disappointed with Cardano unless you bought at the all-time high. But yeah, okay, that's just what it is. And then it all remains, it means be patient, in my view. No financial advice, but it will come up there. This chart is bullish. And other analysts are now saying the same finally, you know, took them a while, but they are now saying the same. So it's starting to look good. And on the weekly, I did tell you as well before, you know, we're touching the 200-day moving average. Last time that happened, we also peaked. And on the ADA BTC, this is increasingly looking good as well. You know, it is really looking good. And let's take a look here on the 4 hour on the ADA BTC. I did tell you already up here that it was looking like we're finding the bottom. First heads up, starting to see bullish divergences here on the 4-hour chart. You can see it here. We had a higher low on the RSI, much lower low on the price, and it continued. Yeah, and finally now we're seeing a higher low on the price. We still have difficulties to get above the 20-day moving average, but I think that will happen shortly. That's my view. Had a buy signal here on the MACD on a few days ago. I mentioned it to you, and this is really the last support level. If we zoom out, the last key support where we found support back in July as well. Yeah, so that is worth pointing out here. And on the daily, let's take a look how it's looking on the daily. On the daily, yeah, we also started to see a bullish divergence forming. So I did mention that as well, looking good in my view. And we had a buy signal on the daily as well. Now on the weekly, I think it's still looking a bit bearish, but that might now turn around as well. So as I said, the week isn't over yet, so we need to see what happens here on the MACD. Dropped slightly below the bearish range. Yeah, but we might find support actually at the 50 line here on the RSI, because we were still all the way still in bullish mode on the RSI. But yeah, I mean, we've come out now out of the overbought range anyway. On the weekly, we were never in the overbought range actually here on the not in August, at least not in August. So yeah, it had to cool down. However, yeah, we came in the middle of the RSI now on the weekly, and it is looking good. It was oversold, ADA on the daily. We're now climbing out of that oversold range, and we now need to get above the moving averages, the 20, the 50, and the 200. And yeah, I think as soon as we break that trend line here potentially, or maybe even that previous high here, I think we could see some significant moves to the upside. Yeah, that would be a significant higher high, and that level is at 3,590. I think. Look at that here, above that 3,5. It's actually a bit lower, 3,570. Yeah, this one here, you can see that we need to get above this level here, and from there I think could see a potential breakout here, real breakout move to the upside, and it is finding its bottom now. Yeah, I'd love to see a real double bottom here or so on the daily. Because even though we're making lower lows still, but very slowly. So maybe a double bottom would be a great signal that we find support here, final support, and it's starting to follow Bitcoin because it's starting to move sideways, which is good. All right, so I think positive news for Cardano, honestly. As I said, even though it could still be that we drop once more, but for me, this is here all confirmation enough that I yeah, continue to buy anyway, but if we drop further, I keep some money aside so that I could make use of these further dips as well. All right, time will come, you know, patience, but time will come, and we're getting there. We're getting closer. Hope you liked the video. If you did, please smash the like button and subscribe. Thank you. Bye-bye.